Are we ready?
I think so. I'm comfortable.
Are you going to wear the sunglasses?
Is that your new thing? That's
my new
Pat's
thing.
new thing.
It's my new thing
Can't
today.
barely see us anyway, so
Yeah. Now you can see yourself when you talk to me.
that's nice.
Yeah.
I foresee myself looking very small, and maybe I should scoot up a little bit because
You want to sit on that side of the table?
No, and looking at the camera, I look like I'm a different species than you guys.
Really?
Yeah, I look so tiny. There we go.
All right.
It was all about the perception of the scale of me.
My scale's off.
My scale's off. All right, ready?
Yeah.
Let's go. Welcome to the Andy Show. It is our first episode here in our new digs.
Yes.
For those of you who are
new
listening to the
Tay-Digs.
audio, we are now filming in my home. We have dedicated one of the rooms in my house to the Andy Show, all things Andy Show. We wanted to do it in a new situation. We've been doing it in the studio that we've been in for several years, and now that we're switching to a more audio-based format, we thought it would be appropriate to switch up our settings to a more celebratory of just things that are enjoyed in my home room.
Yeah.
So for those of you who are watching right now, we have switched the camera situation. We want to make it a little bit more of a personal experience rather than jumping around from a bunch of different cameras, more of a fly-on-the-wall thing. So you'll be here with us in my house every week. And that's really all I have to preface it with. Oh, and you can see, I don't know if you can see, I don't even know if it's in the shot, the TV.
Yeah.
It's a little bit in the shot, yeah. It is off right now because I broke the HDMI cable when transporting it from the studio, and we don't have an extra one today. So for those of you who are disappointed in not seeing the spinning logo, you will eventually see one. Pat is tearing apart my television right now. This could be done at a later time.
We'll deal with that later.
Yeah, so welcome to the show. Joe, how are you doing today?
I'm doing pretty swell.
Yes.
Yeah.
How was your week?
It was good. My brother came to visit, and I dropped on. He's becoming a monk,
Indeed.
so I dropped him off at the monastery in San Diego County on Friday,
Yes.
and yeah, I just I can't imagine living in a place where you're not allowed to talk for between after dinner to after breakfast.
Yeah. Well, I broke my fast with you guys on Friday morning, which is another way of saying I had breakfast with you.
Yes.
I go on a nightly
you
fast,
broke your fast.
from the time I go to sleep until I wake up.
The root of the word.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I like to really be a stickler about saying it the way it's meant to be said, which is break fast.
Right.
People throw it away. They say breakfast.
Break
It's
fast.
break fast. I like
Yes.
to break my fast every day.
Yeah.
And I go on a nightly fast whilst I'm asleep, and I had break fast with you.
Yes.
Both. And your brother Henry seemed fantastic.
Yeah.
I'm really excited for him, and obviously it's something different in terms of our family. There's no other monks in our family, but he seemed really stoked, and
Exactly.
I'm really excited for him.
Yeah, me too.
So what about you, Pat? What is your other than being the guy who's now wearing mirrored sunglasses?
I feel like you guys want to, keep an eye on yourselves a little bit
Yeah.
while we're taping. So
For the listener,
Thank you.
he's wearing mirrored sunglasses.
this one's for
right now.
Andy. This one's for Joe.
Yes.
I could put a little name tag on each one if you want.
Yes.
I think I'd like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's wearing mirrored sunglasses, which I find to be a distraction.
It's an offensive tactic.
Yes, when I'm talking to someone and I'm looking at me, it feels
Here, I'll
aggressive.
just hang him
so.
right here. I'll hang him on my mic.
Okay.
So you guys.
So
Still see myself.
again,
Yeah,
for the
yeah.
listener,
There you
just
go.
getting all kinds of noises
So now
from
my
the...
microphone's wearing your
Yeah.
sunglasses.
Yes, I
Yes.
like that.
So I had kind of a unique situation occur
I
this
like
week.
that sums up Pat's week. Pat, how are you?
I asked
You're
him how
wearing
his week
sunglasses.
was, and he just messed around with sunglasses. So
Actually,
I gave him the opportunity. He
did.
deployed
I
it.
have.
Yeah.
I don't know if you got something you really want to kick the show off with, but if you would read a letter that I have my hands on cold.
I do want to
think that
get
would
to
be
my
really
week
funny.
because I had weird things happen, but I'm happy to read your letter.
it's a really fun way to start the show.
It sounds
And it's
dangerous and like it might get cut out of the show.
short. All right.
So
We'll see.
Fingers crossed.
fingers crossed.
Again,
You never know. Pat's kind of a wild card.
Yeah,
you never know
he
what
really
he's
is.
going to put.
I promise it's not a trap.
Okay.
Is it written in
It's
crayon?
not trap music.
It's not a trap. It's
All
not
right.
trap music, and it's not a trap.
Here we go.
Just read all up from the top.
Squirrelsoncampus.txt from blank sent Thursday, August 9th, 2018 at 10:20 p.m. to Chancellor. Subject, squirrels on campus. Hello. I'm writing to request an approval to use Havart squirrel trap, or Have a Heart squirrel trap on campus. To touch those cute squirrels, I tried many ways to lure them in, such as feeding food, using leaves to create noise, and attracting their attention. However, all these ways just didn't work. I am so fascinated by squirrels, so I decide to buy a small squirrel trap. I do not know the school policy about whether I can use animal traps on campus, so I write this email to request approval. I promise that my animal trap would not impact other people, and I would not abuse those animals I have captured. Actually, the trap is a small cage and would not really affect other people. I would release whatever I catch in the cage. I just want to touch a alive squirrel. Sincerely, blank. Thank you, Pat.
That came across my desk last week, and I thought it would be great.
When you say it came across your desk,
Are you a chancellor?
are you the chancellor of a university?
I have people in the system,
Okay, all right.
and when things like this come up, they forward it.
Got it.
So, anyway, nobody else has seen that. That's
That's
brand
great.
new.
That's a great way to start the show.
What school?
Have a
afraid
heart.
it's
Liberty
not-
to say?
Yeah,
It's local. We'll say
Okay.
that.
it's local.
Okay.
USC.
That's what I'll believe.
Yeah. So, okay, well, you didn't so much tell us about your week, but you did give me that to read. So,
Yeah.
and you still
I
have
had-
sunglasses on your microphone.
I had the vet tell me that it's on me to collect pee from Dill.
Okay.
Your cat.
We brought both the cats in
You
for a
should
checkup.
give a backstory on this.
Well, we brought the cats in to get their blood test done.
Yeah.
And I guess when they collect pee, they actually put a needle through their stomach into their bladder and extract the pee,
Okay.
because then it's a clean sample.
Yes.
Tito had a bunch of pee. Dill didn't have any pee on him.
Yes.
So they gave me a cup, and they said, so we want you to fill this up with his pee
Yeah.
and drive it back over here
Yeah,
later on.
sure.
And my jaw dropped, and I was like, no, you get his pee.
Yeah.
If you can't do it, what makes you think I can do it?
How are you supposed to collect pee from a cat?
I'm like, don't you expect some sort of a dust up?
Yeah.
The cat's peeing, and I try to like sneak a cup under his butt.
good luck catching pee.
So anyway, they said that if I can bring him in again and he doesn't have pee that time, that they'll give him fluids and keep him for a while and then extract the pee. They gave up on asking me to do it, but I was floored that they thought like a layperson can just capture cat pee
Yeah.
without
That's insane.
contaminating.
You can't. I don't know that a non-novice
Yeah.
could do it. Is there an expert in because the thing is, it's the cat's free will at that point.
Yeah, well, they have to pin him down and go into his bladder and drag it out with a needle.
Yeah.
That's how hard it is to get a cat's pee. But they just assume
I've often wondered how hard is it to get a cat's pee.
It is that hard.
And now I know.
it's very hard.
Wow.
Well, Godspeed to you on that.
Yeah. Well, that's all I got.
I also had a medical situation occur this week.
Yeah.
In
involved
converting this room into the new Andy Show studio, I did a lot of decorating, hanging, whatnot, and long story short, I dropped a fair amount of weight onto my foot, my bare foot. I would estimate probably 70 to 80 pounds worth of weight, and I injured it in a way that it didn't hurt immediately, right? It was kind of I felt it, oh, that sucks, and then I kind of went about my business. About an hour later, I was walking up the steps, and I felt something kind of snap, like a little ting in my foot.
Did you hear it?
No, it was a little bit of a crack, but sometimes your toes crack when you're walking.
Sure.
So I was barefoot. I was a barefoot person. I had bare feet,
Yes.
if you will.
I will.
Yeah. And so, just
Bear's feet.
yeah, bear's feet.
bear's
I
feet.
wanted to make
Yeah.
sure that was clear.
Oh, yeah.
I have bear's feet.
Yes.
So
Grizzly bear?
I was walking barefoot, and I felt this kind of snap in my toe, and I thought, oh, damn it. because I felt like, did I really injure something, and now I'm aggravating it or whatever? But I laid in bed for a little bit. We went to bed, and I started to think, okay, if I could just get through the night, then by tomorrow morning this will probably be fine. It'll be fine. Laid there for about 3 hours, sleepless, just getting increasingly more painful every minute, to the point where it felt like my foot had swollen up to about the size of 2 bears' feet. If you will.
That's big.
And so I was in such agonizing pain that I thought, all right, I'm going to get up and see if I can put some weight on it.
Yeah.
Tried to put some weight on it, screamed. As soon as my toe, brushed the carpet, it was so much agony that I screamed, woke Juliet up. I'm, making, not the crying noise, but the kind of thing
Shrieks.
going on. Yeah. And I crawl my way into the bathroom, and I'm sitting there, and Juliet comes over and is like, oh my God, what's wrong? And goes to touch the foot, and just the touch of her hand on the foot is enough to send shockwaves of pain up through my whole body. So I'm getting really angry now, because I'm thinking, damn it, this is something I'm going to have to deal with now.
Yes.
This isn't just I hurt myself, I'll sleep it off thing. This is a thing now.
Yes.
And
Most
it's
certainly.
now 3:30 in the morning,
Ugh.
and I'm reticent to want to go anywhere. But I start to look up and see, okay, is there an urgent care in the area that I can go to? This is not a hospital thing, but I should at the very least have a professional look at this.
Right. You need to know if it's broken or not.
Because if it is broke, I didn't think it was broken. I thought
Right.
at the most I'm looking at a hairline fracture.
Yeah.
It's probably a severe sprain or something like that. Or it could just be, a contusion or a bruise or something, but it hurts really bad right now. I should probably deal with it. I'm not going to be able to sleep. And so something has to be done. Looking up urgent cares, looking up anything that isn't the emergency room, because, again, not interested in going to the emergency room for this. Can't find a single thing. Turns out emergency room is the only choice if you have any form of injury in this area at 3:30 in the morning. So...
It's competitive over there.
Yeah, so I'm like, I don't want to go to the hospital. Juliet's like, we got to go. I'll drive. Let's just go. Now, I live in a home that is not advantageous to having a foot injury, because there's a lot of stairs involved.
Yes, there is.
So now the next hurdle is getting from the second to the first floor with the inability to use one of my feet entirely. And it's not like we have crutches laying around or anything.
No.
And I weigh significantly more than Juliet, so it's not really any good. I tried the leaning on her thing, but
Right.
then she was just buckling underneath me.
And you're both going to fall down the
So
stairs.
I had to one-legged pogo down the stairs, which was difficult, but eventually got down there.
I would have done the sit and go down once.
Probably should have done that again. 3:30, wasn't thinking that
Sure.
clearly.
Yeah.
Not a crutch in the house.
Yeah, so finally get outside. Juliet goes to the garage because the car pulls up in front of the house. I hobble my way into the car.
Yeah.
We drive to the hospital. Of course, there's no traffic. Takes a second to get there. We pull in. No cars in the lot at all. We're like, okay, well, if there's nobody here, this could be quick, painless. We get in. We sit in the waiting room. First sign that something might be off is that the waiting room is playing Jerry Springer loudly on the TV, like so loud that it's starting to distort the sound of the television of the screaming on Jerry
Proper
Springer.
entertainment for mixed company.
Yeah. So, it was Jerry Springer, and there was no one else there except for myself and Juliet, and the woman who's checking us in keeps saying to Juliet's getting all the paperwork, bringing it back to me. I'm giving her the insurance card because I can't really get up. And she keeps saying, which made me laugh, which is also ridiculous, probably set the tone. She kept saying, Juliet, can you come over here and get this so I don't have to get up? She kept saying, so
Wow.
We'd have to keep walking over there.
Kind of appreciate that honesty.
Yeah. I just really don't want to get up. Can you come get this? So then the
I
guy,
guess.
the nurse comes out, and he's like, all right, what's wrong? Already frustrated with me.
For being there.
And I'm like, oh, I'm fine. And I forgot
Just
to
wanted to
mention
watch Jerry.
that while
getting
this
their
is
attention.
happening, there's a police officer who opened the door for us and is sitting at the entrance. I don't know if that's standard for a hospital, but he was very helpful. While I was in the bathroom, he got a wheelchair and gave it to Juliet, so when I got out of the bathroom, I didn't have to hobble. So I'm in the wheelchair. The first thing the nurse says to me when he comes out is, all right, get out of the wheelchair. And I was like, he goes, come on. I was like, well, I don't want to be in this wheelchair, but I'm hopping on one foot. I can't really put weight on the other foot. I'm telling you, it's not like there's nothing necessarily wrong, but right now it's probably better just to not aggravate whatever's going on for me to sit in this wheelchair for a minute.
Yes.
Now, I'm not in seething pain. I'm very calm. I'm
right.
You know, and he is sort of talking to me like I am freaking out on him. He's going like, okay, hey, okay. And I'm speaking at this volume. Well, you know, I think everything's probably fine. I just can't put weight on. Okay. So takes me in the wheelchair begrudgingly into the room. Takes the blood pressure, everything else, fine. Puts me in the room, says the doctor will be with you in a minute. And then nothing happens to us in this room for... I would say that the x-ray technician came in an hour and 20 minutes after we had been in the room.
Yeah.
Sure.
Now, in that time, it was a parade of making me feel more stupid. Everything that occurred in that hospital was violent and important. Everyone that came in was dealing with things that were legitimate afflictions or someone who was getting arrested. That was the only things that were happening.
Right.
People coming in on gurneys with real injuries, or
Emergencies even.
people leaving in handcuffs. That was and I am in the room with an injury that I know is not severe.
Right.
And I keep telling everyone that I don't belong here because I feel embarrassed. Which is probably making it worse as to why they're not coming in to see me. And
right.
Juliet's like, why aren't they, this has been forever. It's been 2 hours. Why aren't they coming in? I said, well, because they know that I don't have a real injury.
Because you keep reminding them.
Yeah, because I feel embarrassed because every time I look out the door,
comparatively,
there's a million firefighters and policemen. And then like we're in a split room and they keep bringing people in to take urine samples and handcuffs and shit. Like and then the first person that comes in, I forgot to mention this before the X-ray technician comes in. A guy comes in to take a blood sample from me.
Okay.
Which we all know I am not the person he was supposed to be taking a blood sample from because I have come in with a bruised foot. And so he comes in and goes, okay, I'm just here to take your blood. And I go, wait a second. Are you sure? And he goes, well, what's your name? And he holds up the bracelet and I show him the bracelet and he goes, oh, shit, no, never mind. And then just leaves. So...
Glad we caught that.
Yeah, had I not mentioned anything, there's a huge possibility that I could have had blood drawn.
Yeah,
for no reason. So anyway, eventually the X-ray guy comes in, takes the X-rays. It's about another hour and a half. We got there at about 3:45. We're in the 6:30 range at this point.
And that's when you texted us the photo.
Yes, I had not seen anyone yet.
Right.
Except for the nurse guy who was mad at me and the unfortunate situation with the blood guy.
Right.
And then watching this menagerie of misery. And so at this point, I start saying to Juliet, let's just go. Like, we don't need to stay here anymore. I don't even need...
They don't let you just walk out of the...
But the thing is,
though, right?
the foot hurts so bad that I keep trying to get up and I can't. So I'll put my foot on the ground and go, ah! Yeah. And I can't every time.
There is no escape.
Yeah, I'm just going, okay, fine, we'll stick it out. And so I wait, and then the doctor comes in. She does... the order that she did it in was hilarious. She knows that nothing's wrong with the foot and doesn't tell me that to start. Instead, she does an exam and asks me what's wrong with it. And then after I tell her what I'm feeling, she goes, well, and then tells me the truth, which I feel like was a way of tricking me into saying symptoms that were inaccurate.
Yeah.
Because I said, well, this and this hurts and blah, blah, blah. And she goes, well, you have like a kind of maybe a minor fracture and a sprain. You'll probably be able to walk in like 2 or 3 days fine. And I was like, well, you could have just led with that. Why do we have to go through, what part hurts?
Yeah.
It hurts.
My fucking foot.
Yeah. So I'm relieved because the last thing I wanted was a severe injury.
Yes.
I am one to get severe injuries all the time. It would inhibit my ability to work. We have work to do, and I don't want to be dragging my foot along. So I was happy. It's now been about 3 or 4 days since then. I'm wearing shoes. There's a little bit of discomfort, but I'm fine. When I saw you, I was wearing the walking boot, but walking all right. It's fine. The recovery time was easy. It did hurt pretty bad for a couple days, but I'm relieved. I want to preface the next part of this story by again stating that I absolutely didn't want to go to the hospital. I thought that I should go to, say, an urgent care to get it checked out as the responsible thing because I've had injuries that I've self-diagnosed before and I was way off. So I thought, I'll do the adult thing and go. Before we left, another male nurse comes in who wraps up my foot and tells us a bunch of stories about himself, which I find to be a way of admonishing me for coming to the hospital. He starts this story. I used to work at a place. I got an injury. It was terrible. I went to the hospital because I thought it was this and this.
Right.
And then I had to pay so much money. And it turns out that it wasn't really necessary for me to go to the hospital with that injury. And then he kind of pauses.
Stares at you.
Yeah, and goes, so, stuff like this, you don't really need to come to the ER for.
Long story short, you're wasting everybody.
And so I go, it was 3:30 in the morning. I had no choice. And so
Well, yeah, you
now
don't want to just sit there. Because you're not sleeping, so you have to do something about it. You don't want to start trying to fix it yourself.
Right.
Right.
I said, it is 3:30 in the morning. I have work to do tomorrow. You don't know what I do for a living. I said, I have stuff I have to do tomorrow. I needed to get
place kicker.
I needed to make sure that this was taken care of. If there was a severe injury, I needed to get started on healing. Yeah. And it hurt like hell, and I thought, this is my only option, because I would have preferred to. He goes, you should have gone and seen like a general care doctor or something.
Yeah. At 3:30?
Yeah, the overnight guy.
If I could have, if it was enough for me to sleep through it, I wouldn't be here.
Right.
So now I'm mad. The original nurse who wheels me in and told me to get out of the wheelchair comes in.
Kicks you out of it.
Says loudly, so you can see here, I just need you to sign out. Looks like you just have like a bruise or something.
A bruise.
And so now,
medical definition of a boo-boo.
So now I'm angry signing this paperwork, and they're going way over the top, and they're talking to me about, well, you didn't even need to get this stuff. They're showing me stuff that they brought out, like crutches and boots and stuff, and they're like, you could have just gotten this at CVS for way cheaper. And I'm like, I didn't even tell you to bring this in, and they're like making a big show of unwrapping it and giving it to me. So now, after I've signed paperwork agreeing to the idea that I just have a bruise, after I've been told that I shouldn't be here, then I have to stand up and have these people help me to my feet and put me into crutches and everything, and then walk out of the hospital in shame as the sun comes up. It was a sad moment.
It's odd because you would think that working in a really stressful place like that, every now and then when an easy one walks in, you'd be like, oh yeah, this is an easy one.
Yeah.
No.
It's a
no problems here.
He wanted me out.
And if
no
it wasn't
handcuffs.
terribly busy, I don't know what the problem would be, but I guess they had, if there's any emergency going on, that kind of takes over the emergency.
So yeah, I mean, I will admit that I agreed with him that I didn't really need to be there.
Yeah.
Right. We were all in agreement.
The caveat here is that I didn't want to be there.
Right.
And I had made that clear from the moment I arrived.
Right.
That I didn't have a severe injury. I just needed someone to check it out, and this was the only medical option that I had. So if you find yourself injured in the middle of the night, yes, I couldn't be walking in my sleep at the time. That's part of the problem. If you find yourself injured in the middle of the night and you go to a local hospital, be prepared to be made fun of by the staff of the hospital if they don't deem your injury appropriate. So then you know me, I get a little bit flustered in these situations.
From time to time.
So I start listing off real injuries that I've had as if I need to impress him. Like,
Right.
The machismo male thing in me comes in and is like, well, I've had broken such and such and everything else. So I'm leaving the hospital on crutches going like, I broke my ribs.
Not now, but once.
Before.
Wasn't one of them like a giant perv, too?
Yeah, well, so, I mean, the same guy who told me that my sister-in-law had been to this hospital before to get stitches a while ago, and he had mentioned that, like, he said something along the lines of, like, oh yeah, I remember her or whatever, and like, so I was already mad at him for that. I was like, dude, come on. Whatever.
It's a whole other angle.
Yeah. Now you're just hitting on family members of mine. Like, what? It's the worst hospital experience.
Hey, I'll look at your foot in a minute, but you want to call up that sister-in-law of yours?
Yeah, ridiculous.
And
It's
FaceTime
like,
going?
it's now almost 7 a.m. What?
Yeah, waking up to that the picture that you texted, I was very confused.
Yeah.
Because I thought you were just lifting weights in the middle of the night or something.
That's what I was doing.
That seems like
No,
odd time.
It occurred, while I was in here decorating, which is also, to tell them how I got the injury was the other funny thing. Well, I was decorating, and I dropped some things on my foot, and now I'm here in this little scooter. So that's me. The other funny thing I forgot to mention is the first thing that the guy said to me when we got there was, what did you take? I said, I took a couple Advil. He goes, no beer? I was like,
Yeah.
what a bizarre.
Yeah.
Yes, I got wasted before I came here.
A couple of shots.
And I wondered then I got mad thinking, do I look like someone who is currently drunk? Do I need to establish how not drunk I am?
I think they just blanket think anybody that's up at 3 in the morning is
So then I told him,
pounding beers.
I go, we're sober. And he's like, oh, okay. And that was it. But, truth is, they're just doing their jobs. You know, they're at the most ungodly hour to be working. They were dealing with stuff that was so crazy. I mean, you see stuff on TV or whatever else, but when you really spend time in an emergency room, especially at that hour,
Sometimes they're there for like 36 hours.
yeah, you're seeing stuff that's absolutely insane. So I completely understand that they have every right to be socially odd with me. Mm-hmm. But from my perspective, it made for a weird situation and a funny story. So I'm not criticizing these people. Well, a little bit on the hitting on my sister-in-law thing. That was a little weird.
That's
and
fair.
And also telling me not to come there.
And the
was
lecture.
bizarre.
Yeah.
But other parts of it, the little parts of being kind of weird with me, that's fine. There was a lot of stuff going on there that I don't know that I'd be able to handle. So, that was it.
Have you been in the ER at 3 in the morning?
Not the ER. There is an urgent care downtown, which is nice.
Yeah.
And it's not the emergency room.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
But it's a 24/7 walk-in
Okay.
place.
I can
See,
imagine
I
3
guess
a.m. at that urgent care downtown is probably quite
Suppose I could have gone downtown.
Yeah.
Sometimes
A little bit of a drive.
they do play some pretty sweet TV though.
Yes.
They do the controversial talk shows and things in the middle of the night. It's pretty good.
I had not seen Jerry Springer in a number of years, and all I could think to say was, I turned to Julia and said, he was the mayor of Cincinnati.
Yep.
Which is a true statement.
Yeah, in the 70s,
But
right?
having not seen it for a long time, that was the first thing that came to my mind.
Yeah. That would have been mine too.
What if you had no frame of reference for the Jerry Springer show at all? You only knew him as the mayor of Cincinnati, and then the other day you finally see him again on TV.
I just couldn't believe it was still on, and I couldn't believe the thing that struck me was that the set is still the same.
Yeah, they're still taping new episodes of that show.
They were advertising the new season, even more Jerryer, yeah. And he looks virtually the same. The situations were similar to that I'm accustomed of on the Jerry Springer show.
Sure.
A lot of yelling.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But it's a lot more acty than I remembered it. I guess as a kid, I thought it was all legit.
Sure.
And now as an adult, I watch it and go, oh, it's campy TV.
It's very pro wrestling.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't realize that. Well, I also thought pro wrestling was realistic when I was a kid.
Yeah.
And now I enjoy it for the kind of campiness and the fun.
Yeah, the writing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I now as an adult watching Jerry Springer, I was a little bit. It was almost like, of course, why didn't I think? I felt dumb for not realizing it until that moment. But there was a moment of like, oh, it's all TV. Like,
like how do these people get it together enough to get on a plane and go somewhere else to fight?
Yeah,
when they're just like at each other's throats.
I suppose as a kid, also we didn't have reality TV.
That's what I was going to say.
So there was no the concept that there were these TV shows that were based on reality but were scripted didn't really exist.
Yeah,
we just took everything as fact.
Yeah,
it's like, oh, it's on TV.
Yeah. Well, and it kind of blended in with the other shows that either got people who didn't know each other but they knew they were going to end up hating each other. Like they'd get like Nazis to show up, and Geraldo would fight Nazis on his talk show and stuff. And then they would then they'd get people that are in a relationship and they don't know yet whether or not like they're the father.
Yeah.
And then they get in a big thing after that.
I remember when I was a kid.
They want to kick
what was
each
it?
other's
Was
ass.
it Ricky Lake? Ricky Lake was always like the edgiest.
Yeah.
Of the
Donahue,
Montel,
Sally Jesse Raphael. And then you also had the courtroom shows, which I still believe are very popular. But I thought like the People's Court was like a real proceeding when I was a kid, which they tell you it is. But we used to live right by where they do Judge Joe Brown.
Really?
And I'd see the people in line in the morning to go in with signs like "Pick me" to go into the courtroom. You know.
The only court in the world people were begging to go. To go.
Yeah, because someone would come out, you know, a PA in the morning would come out and pick who's going to sit and look stoic in the courtroom. So there'd be people out there, I love Judge Joe.
Pick me.
Yeah.
If only.
The other one that was funny is they shot some Wayne Brady show there where it was people dressed up in costumes to come in. And so it was the most Hollywood. This is when we lived in Hollywood. It was the most Hollywood thing I could imagine.
Oh, I was thinking you were talking about Cincinnati, and I was very confused.
No.
Yeah,
When we lived in
that
Hollywood,
makes much more sense. Yeah.
you would turn the corner and there'd be a line of 150 people in the most
Was it at
ridiculous
CBS,
costumes.
At CBS Studios?
No, it was the Gower Studios.
Oh, okay. Because
So
at CBS they would do The Price is Right, and that's the biggest like costume. Everybody's dressed up in costume kind of show.
Yeah. Well, this one was it was not The Price is Right. It was
talent show?
it was some other show where the weirdest costume got in. And we used to live fairly close to Gower Studios, and so I would turn the corner all the time in the morning and just see this just barrage of people in like dragon suits and shit, and I was like, this is why people take van trips around and look at things, because you might see something like this.
Right.
It makes you feel like you live in an amusement park.
Yes.
Yeah, with narrow lanes and cars parked on either side of the road.
The best.
A lot of strange foot traffic in Hollywood.
Yeah. So I hope that people are enjoying the new format here. Obviously, we haven't
find out.
we haven't debuted it yet, so we'll get the feedback. But I like the new setup. It's nice.
Yeah.
It's nice to not be nothing against our previous spot, but it feels a little bit more personal. I
The
think
commute is much nicer.
Yes.
it's much nicer, and there's not. I don't know. It just feels a little bit less. I guess empty. Mm-hmm. You know, I feel I'm right at home. I'm literally at home.
You are literally at home.
You are in my home right now, dear viewers. And so that's really it for this week. I got nothing else to say.
Yeah, that's good.
Great.
Do you want to leave him with anything, Joseph?
No.
You had
All
good
right.
advice about packing peanuts one time. I thought that was pretty sick.
Oh, did I?
advice.
Packing penis?
Packing peanuts.
Oh,
Yeah. What did I say about
I
him?
said, hang on to your packing peanuts.
Oh, that's right. I did.
You never know when you're going to need them.
Wow. Well,
That stuck with me.
viewer and listener, hold on to your packing peanuts.
that's got to be our new sign off.
Yeah.
This has been the Andy Show.
Hold on.
Hold
to your
on to your
packing
packing penis.